Hey, good morning, Sunday morning here where when I'm recording. Bruce here. Hope you're doing great. I just got a few of these L264 Sultan Plecos. I already have some, but I got a few more for some additional bloodline. And as I was acclimating them, it got me thinking, boy, this hobby really requires a lot of patience. In other words, in this hobby, patience isn't just a virtue, it's actually a necessity if you're going to be successful. First of all, you've got to learn about your fish, and you need to learn about them from trusted sources, and that can mean some time looking online, talking to people who have successfully raised them. Basically, just making sure you're getting good information. How big are your fish going to get? How old will they get? What kind of temperament do they have? What are they compatible with? What kind of diet do they have? Where do they live? What do they like? And then buying when you're confident that you know how to take care of the fish. Don't buy a bunch of fish and only to see half of them died because you just didn't take the time to keep them. It's not fair to them. Quarantining fish. Do you quarantine your fish, or if they're from a trusted source, you just throw them in your tank because you think there's no way your local big box store is passing any diseases on to you? Again, a lot of times we want to get our prized new fish into our display tanks, and we end up with problems because we don't put them into a separate tank to quarantine them for a while. Acclimation. When you buy new fish, did you know that you should take your fish and you should slowly add your fish tank water to that over a period of an hour, trying to get at least 2 or 3 times the tank water that they're going to be in into mixed in with the water that they arrived in. Slowly adjusting the temperature and slowly acclimating them to what they're going to be living in now. But in other words, you can't just throw the thing in float the bag on top of your aquarium for 10 minutes and say, okay, yeah, that's pretty close, and dump them in. It's not good for them. Tanks setup, cycling your tanks can take a long time, especially for saltwater tanks. I'm not going to get into what's involved in that right now, but basically making sure that your conditions are right so that you're not going to have a constant struggle to get your parameters good and have clean, healthy water for your fish. You could lose a lot of fish if you don't take the time. Maintenance time. Do you skimp on your water changes because you're short on time or you're just tired one day? You need to dump 10 gallons, but you only dump 5 because you just don't feel like it. Do you do proper maintenance of your filters, or do you just put it off sometimes? Because again, it requires patience and time. Do you schedule cleaning of your gravel? Do you schedule cleaning of your sponge filters? And again, if you have 1 or 2 tanks, it's not a real big deal to keep track of. But if you have multiple tanks, these are things sometimes you have to actually write down and keep a schedule. And that's all patience and time. So you get your things all set up and you go to plant some plants. Do you kill plants all the time and can never get them to grow? This could be the water, it could be nutrients, could be the light, or it simply could be patience. A lot of times people plant plants, they don't take off and just grow like mad, so they think something's wrong. They end up moving them around, they play around with them too much, and they end up killing them. This is a problem. A lot of times you need to plant your plants and let them stay and give them the best chance and good lighting, good materials, good clean water, good minerals, and good water. And then just be patient. Leave them alone. Don't mess with them. Let them melt back. Let them grow back. All about patience. How about feeding? You guys ever heard of the 3-minute rule? Sometimes you'll get some food and you'll see something that says, feed it to them as much as they'll eat in 3 minutes. Well, do you take your time and give your fish a little bit, let them eat for a little bit, or do you dump in what you think they're going to eat in 3 minutes, only to watch a bunch of it go spilling down into the substrate and get sucked up into the filter, again, because you don't have the patience to feed them properly. Breeding is another thing. You ever know people who've gotten fish and they couldn't get them to breed, so they got bored, and then the next time you go visit them, they've got different fish now. And you say, hey, what happened to the other fish? Well, I got bored. They wouldn't breed, so I just gave it up. So I guess what I'm getting at with all this is anywhere from investigating and learning about your fish prior to buying them, through setting up your tank, through maintenance, all the way up to deciding what are you going to do. Are you going to breed them, or are you just going to enjoy these tanks or these fish for the years that they grow? I want to motivate you to take your time and do things properly, and remember that this is it's not a race, and that the only way you're going to have success in this hobby is if you learn that it requires a lot of patience. And let me tell you, you're going to find that out specifically as you get more and more tanks. So don't skimp. It's not fair to your fish, and really in the long run it's not fair to you, because you are the one that wants to enjoy these tanks. So do it right, take your time, and learn some patience. As always, thank you so much for watching. This is Bruce. I'll see you next time.